Johnny Carson, the king of late night. For 3 decades he ruled The Tonight Show and welcomed hundreds of the biggest stars on earth. But behind the bright studio lights, the laughs, and the standing ovations, Carson saw everything. He saw the kindness, the humility, and yes, the dark side of show business. And throughout his private life, Carson reportedly told friends that some guests the world adored were actually nightmares behind the scenes. Tonight, we reveal the 9 Golden Age guests Johnny Carson reportedly thought were evil, not in a supernatural sense, but because of the way they treated people when the cameras were off. Carson had a policy: treat the crew with respect. But one iconic actress came on set and reportedly called everyone from the makeup department to the stagehands idiots. The audience loved her. America loved her. But Carson reportedly told a friend later, she acted like she was made of gold and everyone else was dirt. He was professional on air, but that actress was never invited back. Comedy is sacred. But according to backstage chatter, one famous stand-up borrowed, or outright stole, whole routines from lesser-known comics. When Carson found out, he was furious. He didn't expose the comedian publicly, but after that night, the invitations stopped rolling in. Carson had no time for thieves, especially in comedy. One musician, adored worldwide, shocked Carson when he witnessed a backstage outburst. A small mistake by a sound technician reportedly triggered a volcanic explosion of insults, shouting, and slammed dressing room doors. When the musician walked on stage afterward, he smiled as if nothing happened. Carson never forgot it. Carson often joked that Hollywood was full of egos, but one actor took it to another level. He demanded special chairs, special bottled water, private entry, no eye contact from staff, and he insisted Carson introduce him as the greatest dramatic talent of his generation. Carson introduced him, but later he told his writers, that guy believes he's Caesar. Not everyone loved Johnny's success. One rival TV host allegedly appeared as a guest and then returned backstage telling NBC executives that Carson was too old, losing the energy, and should be replaced. Word got back to Carson. He smiled publicly, but that guest never sat on the couch again. Those close to Johnny said that he kept mental notes, who was kind and who was cold. He once said, "What people do when nobody is watching, that's who they really are." But those were just the first 5. In Part 2, we reveal the 4 guests who Carson reportedly believed were the darkest of all, including one who shocked him live on air, and another who caused him to walk off set when the cameras stopped rolling. Stay with us, for more legendary Hollywood names remain. These final guests were the ones Carson reportedly warned future television hosts about. Learn from them, he said, and don't let fame excuse cruelty. On one famous episode, Carson featured a young rising singer as a surprise second guest. The studio audience adored him. But the lead guest, an older music icon, didn't like sharing the spotlight. Witnesses say she leaned over during the break and said, in front of everyone, "You'll never make it in this business." Carson was stunned. When the show ended, he reportedly comforted the young singer personally and told the staff, "Anyone who crushes dreams doesn't deserve the stage." The audience knew him as charming, witty, and sharp. But backstage, he enjoyed mocking people who couldn't fight back: production assistants, studio interns, and even coffee runners. Carson was a comedian, but never a bully. He believed jokes should lift the room. This guest instead drained it. After one appearance, Johnny told his producer, "He's funny, but he laughs at pain, and that's not my comedy." Hollywood loves a good success story, but sometimes fame goes straight to someone's head. A young television star came onto The Tonight Show, ignoring the stage manager, skipping rehearsal, demanding lavish treatment, and speaking like he'd already won the entertainment world. Carson never challenged him on air. He always kept professionalism first, but staff members said he rolled his eyes the moment the guest walked off stage. Years later, the star's career fizzled out. Johnny reportedly said to a writer, "Fame tests character. Some people fail." Carson was famously calm, cool, and unshakable. Almost nobody ever saw him truly angry. But one well-known guest, a Golden Age celebrity beloved by millions, reportedly crossed a line. According to show staff, The guest insulted a crew member with a comment too personal, harsh, and cutting to ignore. Carson didn't yell. He didn't explode. He simply stared coldly at the guest and said, "We don't treat people like that here." And when the cameras went off at the end of the show, Johnny walked off set silently and refused to shake the guest's hand. That guest was never seen on the show again. More than jokes, more than monologues, more than punchlines, Carson believed in something deeper. He once explained privately to a colleague, "Everyone sees the performer. I see the person." He felt that fame could reveal the best